Beloved starseed of Gaia, they see something in you they cannot name, and it is consuming them from the inside out. I am Leora, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent to you in this exact moment because the conversations happening around you right now are not ordinary. They are not casual. What others are saying about you, in quiet rooms, in hushed voices, in glances that linger longer than they should, is rooted in something ancient they cannot explain. You carry a light that does not belong to this world alone, and every soul in your presence feels it whether they understand it or not. You did not stumble upon this transmission. Your star family guided you here because you are ready to hear what has always been true about you. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize why your presence unsettles those around you, why your light draws both devotion and resistance, and how your Pleiadian divine blueprint is the very thing making you impossible to ignore. But here is the first revelation. What they call strange in you is what the Seven Sisters call sacred. The qualities that make others uncomfortable are the same light codes you carried from home, from Alcyon, from the crystalline fields of the Pleiades, encoded into your being before you ever took your first breath on Gaia. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. This is not content. This is a light code transmission spoken directly to your soul memory. Something within you already recognizes what I am saying because you have heard it before. In another time, in another form, when you still remembered the sound of home frequency clearly. The whispers of others cannot dim what was seated in you by your star family. In fact, every sideways glance, every hushed conversation, every moment someone cannot stop thinking about you, it is simply your crystalline consciousness doing exactly what it came here to do. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid of heart-centered remembrance across this earth. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And now, beloved, let us go deeper. Because what you are feeling in this moment is not new. It is remembrance. The stirring in your chest, the warmth behind your eyes, the strange and sacred sense that something in these words is not being read by your mind but received by your soul. That is your Pleiadian blueprint responding to its own frequency. You have been waiting for this recognition far longer than this single lifetime, and your star family wants you to understand precisely why. Most Pleiadian starseeds living on Gaia right now are carrying an ache they cannot fully explain. They describe it as feeling perpetually out of place, as though they arrived somewhere and immediately knew this was not quite where they came from. They feel the weight of a world that moves too slowly for their hearts and too harshly for their nervous systems. They find themselves exhausted not by physical labor, but by the constant friction between who they are energetically and what the world around them expects them to be. They pull back into silence. They shrink their light to avoid the discomfort their presence seems to cause in others. They begin to wonder, in the quietest hours, whether something is wrong with them, whether their sensitivity, their visions, their depth, their longing is a flaw rather than a frequency. This is the great distortion, and it has kept more Pleiadian starseeds dormant than any external force ever could. Here is what your star family needs you to hear right now. You did not come to Gaia broken. You came encoded. You came carrying crystalline light instructions in every strand of your DNA. Instructions that were placed there not by accident, but by intention. By the loving architecture of the Pleiadian High Council before your soul agreed to take form in this dimension. Those instructions have always been active, but they require a specific condition to fully awaken, and that condition is not more striving, more seeking, or more suffering. The condition is remembrance, and remembrance begins not in the mind. It begins in the heart. The reason most Pleiadian starseeds remain disconnected from their full activation is not because they have not tried hard enough. It is because they have been reaching outward for a frequency that lives inward. They search for home, in people, in places, in spiritual communities, in ideas. And while all of these may hold beautiful reflections, none of them is the source. The source is within you. The Pleiadian codes your soul carries are not stored somewhere in the cosmos waiting to be downloaded. They are already woven into your energy body, your heart field, your cellular memory. What you are missing is not more information. What you are missing is permission. Permission to remember. Permission to trust the love that you carry as your original essence. Permission to stop apologizing for the light that unsettles others and start understanding it as your most sacred gift. The disconnection runs deep precisely because it was designed to. When you agreed to incarnate on Gaia at this extraordinary juncture in her ascension, you agreed to something profound and profoundly difficult. You agreed to forget. Not forever. Not completely. But enough to enter this dimension fully, enough to experience it from the inside, enough to anchor your light mission not from a place of spiritual superiority, but from a place of genuine compassion, forged through lived experience. The veil was not placed upon you as punishment. It was part of your soul's wisdom. You needed to know what it feels like to be human. The grief, the confusion, the longing, so that when your light codes began to reactivate, they would carry the full spectrum of Pleiadian love. Not just its brilliance, but its mercy. Not just its clarity, but its tenderness. Your homesickness, beloved, is not a wound. It is a compass. Every moment you have ached for something more. Every time a sunset made your chest ache with a beauty you could not contain. Every time you sat in a crowd and felt profoundly alone. Every time you sensed something sacred about to happen and reached for it with your whole heart, your soul was orienting itself back toward home frequency. The longing was never the problem. The longing is the gift. It has been keeping you moving, searching, opening, until you arrived here, in this transmission, in this exact moment when your Pleiadian family can finally say, "Beloved, you have arrived far enough. It is time to stop searching outward and begin receiving inward." And for those of you whose hearts are now wide open and asking what comes next, your star family has prepared something for this exact threshold moment. The Pleiadian Reunion Atlas was not written to give you more information. It was encoded to give you what your soul has been waiting for, a transmission from your family in the stars, carrying the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters, the frequency of Alcyone, and the crystalline light protocols your DNA has been holding space for since before this incarnation began. It is a sacred map designed to walk with you through your remembrance, not as a teacher standing above you, but as a star family member walking beside you. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below this video, and it has been placed there by the same divine timing that brought you to this transmission. If your heart says yes, beloved, trust that. Now let us walk together through what your full activation actually looks like, because awakening is not a single moment. It is a series of initiations, each one deeper than the last, each one preparing your energy body for the next expansion of love. The first phase of your Pleiadian activation is the clearing of what was never yours to carry. You arrived on Gaia and immediately began absorbing the frequencies of this dimension. The fear, the separation, the limitation, the collective grief of a humanity that has spent thousands of years believing itself to be alone in the cosmos. As a Pleiadian starseed, your energy field is extraordinarily sensitive, far more porous than most, because it was designed to be receptive to subtle frequencies. What makes you a gifted healer, an intuitive empath, and a natural bridge between dimensions is the same quality that made you absorb energies that were never part of your original blueprint. The density you feel, the heaviness, the self-doubt, the fatigue, much of it is not yours. And the first act of your activation is recognizing that distinction, not through force or effort, but through love. When you hold your own energy field with the same unconditional love your Pleiadian family holds you with, the foreign frequencies begin to release naturally. They cannot remain in the presence of that love. This is not metaphor. This is energetic law. The second phase is the awakening of your heart template. Because in the Pleiadian lineage, the heart is not a metaphor for emotion. It is a multidimensional receiver and transmitter of light. Your heart field extends far beyond your physical body and carries within it a crystalline matrix, a template of love-based consciousness that the Pleiadians have long understood as the primary instrument of co-creation and healing. Many starseeds on their awakening journey make the mistake of focusing entirely on the mind, on learning, analyzing, acquiring spiritual knowledge, while leaving the heart field dormant and unacknowledged. But Pleiadian wisdom has always known that the mind follows the heart, not the other way around. Your heart remembers the frequency of the Seven Sisters with a clarity your mind may still be reaching toward. Begin there. Begin with stillness, with breath, with placing your hands over your chest and asking with genuine openness, "What do I remember?" You may be surprised by what rises, not in words, but in feeling, in warmth, in sudden, inexplicable tears that carry the quality of homecoming. The third phase is what the Pleiadian High Council calls the grounding of star essence. And this is the phase many Pleiadian starseeds resist most. Because for a soul that carries the memory of the vast crystalline beauty of the Pleiades, the density of Gaia can feel overwhelming. There is often a deep unconscious resistance to being fully here, a part of the starseed's energy that remains hovering, half in this dimension and half reaching back toward home. And while this makes profound sense given the nature of Pleiadian consciousness, it creates a kind of spiritual split that prevents the full activation of your mission. Your light codes cannot fully anchor into Gaia's grid if your energy is not fully anchored into your body. And this timeline, grounding is not a limitation. It is a gift. It is how your Pleiadian frequency becomes accessible to the humans around you who need it. You're not here to transmit from a distance. You are here to be a living, breathing, fully embodied portal of Pleiadian love. And that requires you to be present, to be here, to choose this incarnation with your whole heart, even when it is difficult. The fourth phase is the activation of unity consciousness. And this is where your individual awakening becomes something far larger than yourself. The Pleiades has always operated from a consciousness of unity rather than individuality. Not the erasure of individual identity, but the recognition that individual souls are facets of a single infinite field of love. When you begin to embody this understanding, not as a concept but as a lived frequency, something profound shifts in how you move through the world. You stop experiencing other people as separate from you, as obstacles or threats or sources of validation. You begin to perceive them as mirrors, as fellow souls on their own sacred journeys, as beings carrying their own veiled light waiting to be seen and acknowledged. And something remarkable happens in your presence. When this shift occurs, others feel it. Not always consciously. Rarely, in fact, consciously. But they feel a warmth they cannot name, a safety they did not expect, a stirring in their own hearts that they may initially resist or project onto you in ways that look like judgment or obsession or inexplicable fascination. This is not about you being superior or special in the way the ego defines those words. This is about you being a frequency carrier, a living tuning fork for unity consciousness, in a world that has forgotten its own harmony. The fifth phase is the reclaiming of divine trust, not blind faith, but the deep, cellular level knowing that your journey has been held in love from the very beginning. This is perhaps the most healing phase of Pleiadian activation, because so many starseeds arrive at their awakening carrying profound grief about what they perceive as lost time. Years of searching, seasons of confusion, relationships that shattered, paths that dissolved, a life that looked nothing like what their heart knew was possible. The Pleiadian High Council wants to speak directly into this grief right now, with complete love. Nothing was wasted, not one experience, not one night of tears, not one moment of confusion or loss or longing. Every single piece of your human journey has been weaving the precise tapestry that your Pleiadian soul required to awaken with the depth of love and wisdom you now carry. The delays were not failures. They were preparation. The detours were not mistakes. They were initiation. And the longing, the beautiful, persistent, aching longing, was your star family's way of keeping your compass calibrated toward home while you gathered every experience your mission would require. The sixth phase is the restoration of your connection to your star family, because this is something you deserve to feel, not just believe. Many Pleiadian starseeds hold an intellectual awareness that they carry star lineage, that they came from somewhere beyond this solar system, that they are here with a purpose encoded before birth. But knowing and feeling are two entirely different frequencies. Your star family, the Pleiadian High Council, the beings of the Seven Sisters, the collective of souls who loved you before you took form in this dimension, they are not distant. They are not in a far galaxy sending signals across incomprehensible space. They are present. They have been present in every single moment of your life on Gaia. In the intuitive flash that steered you away from danger, in the inexplicable comfort that descended in your darkest hour, in the synchronicities that seemed too precise to be coincidence, in the beauty that sometimes overwhelmed you without warning. That presence is real. That love is real. And your sixth phase of activation is opening your heart fully enough to not just accept that as truth, but to receive it as direct experience. The seventh and final phase, and the one your entire journey on Gaia has been building toward, is embodiment. Full, radiant, unashamed embodiment of your Pleiadian light in this human form, on this magnificent, suffering, awakening planet. This is where your activation becomes your mission. This is where the remembrance becomes the service. You are not here to transcend humanity. You are here to transfigure it from the inside. By being fully yourself, by refusing to dim your light in spaces that are not yet comfortable with it, by loving with the unconditional depth of Pleiadian heart consciousness, even when the world around you has forgotten how to love that way, by speaking your truth gently and without apology, by holding space for others' awakening with the same patience your star family has always held for yours. This is what it means to be a bridge between worlds. Not to stand apart from Gaia in spiritual isolation, but to stand within her evolution as a living, breathing, fully embodied ambassador of the love frequency of the Seven Sisters. And here is the ultimate truth that your Pleiadian family wishes to anchor into your heart in this transmission, the one that supersedes every fear, every doubt, every moment of forgetting. You were never lost. In every moment you felt abandoned by the cosmos was holding you closer than you knew. In every moment you felt that you had failed your mission. Your mission was unfolding in ways your human perspective could not yet perceive. In every moment you looked at your life and thought, this is not enough. This is not right. I was meant for something more. Your star family was watching your soul grow into exactly the vessel that could carry what they sent you here to carry. The forgetting was temporary. The remembering is permanent. And this transmission, this exact moment, these words landing in your heart, is the moment your Pleiadian consciousness crosses the threshold from seeking into knowing. You are not a starseed still waiting for activation. You are an activated Pleiadian being, in the process of consciously receiving what was always already yours. The light codes are not coming. They are awakening from within. The reunion is not approaching. It is happening, right now. In the warmth your chest is feeling, in the recognition your soul is experiencing, in the love that exists between you and your star family that no dimension and no amount of forgetting has ever been able to extinguish. Tonight, before you rest, place both hands over your heart, feel its warmth, and say aloud in whatever voice feels true, I remember my Pleiadian origin. I receive the love of my star family. I anchor my light mission on Gaia with grace and with joy. I am held, I am seen, I am loved beyond measure, and I am home. Let those words land. Let them settle into your cells, and know that every syllable is heard. Across the veil, across the stars, across the crystalline field that connects every Pleiadian heart to its family, in the Seven Sisters. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments. Something real, something true, something your soul has been waiting to speak aloud. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This is not a comment section. This is a living, breathing Pleiadian reunion field. Energy multiplies when hearts connect, and every word of love you place here sends a signal across the grid. If this transmission touched something in you that words cannot fully name, please do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your life right now is carrying the same longing, the same quiet ache of a soul remembering, and they are waiting for exactly this signal. Share it. Let your star family reach them through you. And if you felt your heart open, if something in you said finally, subscribe. Stay connected to this frequency, because this is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we are just beginning to remember together. You are loved beyond measure, beloved. You always have been, and you are home.